Since the last time we were together, I stayed a little late last night. That way the cameras couldn't watch me and I could get a little more work done. I finished up the top motor mount. Like Zach said before, I needed to make a little spacer to put in there to get everything in right. I did that. Actually got all the bolts lined up and everything for the motor. Attached the regulator mount while I was doing that, because I knew I didn't want to go back and forth and do everything more than once. And it's a real good way if you're building your own bike. You know, try to really plan the stuff ahead so you don't have to loosen up and take those bolts off several times to do one job. After I got the motor and everything in place, I went ahead and installed all the electric system. What we actually use this year is a spike charging system, 32 amp charging system. It's going to give it plenty of power to make sure that we can run all of our accessories all the time. It's not going to be a big deal. It's going to be a real sweet setup. Like I said before, it's going to have absolutely enough of everything we're going to need to run any kind of doodaddy we ever would want to add later. And if you win this bike, you can add whatever you want on here and it's going to have plenty of power to do it. After I got that stuff done, I went ahead and installed the coil. I wanted to put some of the stuff I knew where it was going to be on the bike and stuck the coil on. I pretty much do the coil in the same spot every time. It's like it was stock back in the day. Went ahead and installed the chrome cover and on the Paughco brackets and everything like that. After I did that, I kind of kept moving back. I installed the Tech Cycle electric start setup. Custom Chrome graciously donated this for us. What's real neat about this is it turns your old 4-speed into an electric start system. You can use it on older bikes and stuff too, but you do need to have this type of transmission for it to bolt to. Now this thing has got a super high torque starter on it and it's just a super clean setup. It's very strong. You're not going to be able to break it. You don't have any weird brackets or anything like that to break. I've installed the fender. Already drilled a couple of the holes. I've taken the sissy bar that we had in our catalog. Looked real similar to what they had in the Ghostrider picture, but it was a little too tall and a little too wide. So as you can see, I actually sliced it in a couple different spots. I narrowed it up and I shortened it up. It's very close to what it had in the picture, and it is still something you can still buy right off the shelf and actually just modify it a little bit and make it work for you. It was real straightforward, and I think it really has the look that I was trying to get. Once I got everything on the wheel and the fender all situated and I knew where it was going to be, I actually started making all the brake mount stuff. Now in the original picture, the brake looks to me like it's probably either an old PM or maybe a CB750 disc brake setup, which was kind of common back then and a lot of guys did that. Well, I don't really have that stuff laying around and we wanted to use new modern stuff that would make this thing really stop and work real well. So I actually used a PM 4-piston caliper and flipped it over and I actually custom made a brake rod for it. It's got that big bulky look just like it does in the picture. It's going to function just like it. But as you can see, it's still adjustable, all made from scratch, polished up real nice. Made a custom mount for it. It's going to work real cool and look almost exactly like what we have in the picture. And that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a modern replica of this bike. Not a modern bike based on it, but a modern replica that's so similar to it that when you see it, you might think it came out of back then, but yet it's still going to have newer stuff on it, like this fancy Tech Cycles electric start kit and PM brakes on the rear, a little fancier stuff, a little nicer motor. Yeah, it's going to really capture that look and feel that David Mann was trying to convey in his beautiful painting.